Aliens discovered too late. Humans are the galaxy's deadliest killers, Part 1. First contact. The star system of Tau Ceti was quiet. Too quiet for Commander Alexandra Daniels. She stood on the bridge of the UEA starship Intrepid, staring at the view screen. Her dark hair was pulled back in a tight bun, and her blue uniform was crisp and clean. 20 years in the Space Marines had taught her that quiet often meant trouble was coming. "Anything on sensors, Chief?" she asked. Chief Olivia Warren looked up from her station. Her fingers moved quickly over the controls. "Nothing unusual, Commander. Just the normal traffic around the colony." The year was 2157. Humans had figured out faster than light travel 30 years ago. Since then, they had spread to 17 planets. The United Earth Alliance was still young, but growing stronger every day. Commander Daniels nodded and was about to sit down when an alarm sounded. "Unknown ship detected at the edge of the system," Chief Warren said, her voice steady but urgent. "It's big, Commander, really big." "Alert status," Daniels ordered. "Get me a visual." The view screen changed to show a strange ship. It looked like nothing humans had ever built. It was shaped like a sea creature with smooth curves and what looked like fins along its sides. It glowed with a soft blue light. "Is it moving toward us?" Daniels asked. "No, Commander," Chief Warren replied. "It's just sitting there. But it's scanning us very thoroughly." Daniels pressed a button on her chair. "Dr. Kelly to the bridge. Ambassador Summers to the bridge." Within minutes, both men arrived. Dr. Nathan Kelly was tall and thin, with kind eyes and a curious expression. Ambassador Eric Summers was shorter, with graying hair and the careful movements of a man who thought before he acted. "First contact?" Dr. Kelly asked, his voice filled with excitement. "Possibly," Daniels said. "They haven't done anything aggressive yet. Just scanning." Ambassador Summers straightened his uniform. "We should hail them. Follow first contact protocols." Daniels nodded. "Open a channel, Chief." Chief Warren pressed some buttons. "Channel open, Commander." Daniels stood tall. "This is Commander Alexandra Daniels of the United Earth Alliance starship Intrepid. We come in peace and wish to establish friendly communication." For a long moment, there was nothing. Then the view screen changed. It showed a strange being. It had scales like a lizard but stood upright like a human. Its eyes were large and yellow with thin slits for pupils. When it spoke, its mouth moved in an odd way, but the ship's computer translated its words. "I am Ambassador Cathet of the Solari Imperium. We are surprised to find humans so far from Earth." Daniels and Summers exchanged looks. "How did these aliens know about Earth?" "We have been observing your planet for many of your centuries," Cathet continued as if reading their thoughts. "We did not expect you to develop faster than light travel so quickly." Ambassador Summers stepped forward. "We would welcome the opportunity to meet with you and establish diplomatic relations between our peoples." The alien was quiet for a moment. Its yellow eyes blinked slowly. "Yes, that would be informative. We will send a small vessel to dock with your ship. Please, prepare to receive our delegation." The screen went dark. "Well," Dr. Kelly said, "that was interesting." "They've been watching us," Daniel said. "For centuries," they said, "and they seem surprised we're out here." She turned to Chief Warren. "Scan that ship again. I want to know everything about it." Warren nodded and got to work. "I should prepare for the delegation," Ambassador Summers said. "Commander, will you join me?" "Of course," Daniels replied. "Dr. Kelly, you come too. I want to know everything you can tell us about these Zalari once you see them." 2 hours later, the Zalari shuttle docked with the Intrepid. The human delegation waited as the airlock opened. 4 aliens stepped through. They were all like Cathet, reptilian and tall. 3 of them looked nervous, their eyes darting around. The 4th, wearing elaborate robes, moved forward with more confidence. "I am Cathet," the alien said. "These are my scientists. We wish to learn more about humans." "Welcome aboard the Intrepid," Ambassador Summers said. "I am Ambassador Eric Summers. This is Commander Alexandra Daniels and Dr. Nathan Kelly, our xenobiologist. Cathet's eyes fixed on Dr. Kelly. Xenobiologist. You study alien life forms? Yes, Kelly said with a smile. I'm very excited to meet you. You're the first non-human intelligent species we've encountered. Cathet made a strange sound. It might have been a laugh, but it wasn't friendly. Yet you already have a word for us. Interesting. We've always hoped we weren't alone in the universe, Kelly explained. And now you know you are not, Cathet said. The galaxy has many intelligent species. The Zalari Imperium includes 7 different ones. We have been spacefaring for thousands of your years. Summers invited the aliens to a meeting room. There, they sat around a large table. Daniels noticed the Zalari seemed uncomfortable in the chairs, which weren't designed for their bodies. Tell us about human expansion, Cathet said. You have colonies on how many worlds? 17, Summers replied. All within 50 light years of Earth. The aliens looked at each other. One of the scientists spoke rapidly in their language, too fast for the translator to catch. That is impressive, Cathet said. And concerning. Concerning? Daniels asked. Why? Your species moves quickly, Cathet said. More quickly than we anticipated. The meeting continued for hours. The Zalari asked many questions about human biology, history, and military capabilities. They seemed especially interested in how humans fought wars. When Dr. Kelly asked about Zalari biology, they gave only vague answers. When Daniels asked about their military, they changed the subject. After the meeting, the Zalari asked to see the ship. Daniels assigned security officers to escort them, but kept the most sensitive areas off limits. Later in her office, Daniels met with Summers and Kelly. They're hiding something, she said. Agreed, Summers said. They know more about us than they're saying. Did you notice how they reacted when I mentioned our immune system? Kelly asked. When I explained how our bodies fight disease? They seemed shocked. And they asked a lot about our gravity training, Daniels added. As if they couldn't believe. We could function in different gravity levels. A message came through on Daniels' computer. Commander, the Zalari are requesting to return to their ship. Already? Summers said. We've barely started diplomatic talks. Something spooked them, Daniels said. The next morning, Daniels was called to the bridge. The Zalari ship was powering up its engines. They're leaving, Chief Warren said. Ambassador, Cathet sent a message saying they need to consult with their leadership and will return soon. They're running away, Daniels said quietly. Dr. Kelly entered the bridge holding a small device. Commander, I found this in the conference room. It's a surveillance device. It was recording everything we said. Before Daniels could respond, Lieutenant Ryan Carter from Military Intelligence rushed in. Commander, we've intercepted a transmission from the Zalari ship. It's partly encrypted, but we got some of it. What did it say? Daniels asked. Carter looked troubled. It said, classification, amended apex predator species. Strategic response required. The humans looked at each other as the Zalari ship disappeared into the darkness of space. What does that mean? Summers asked. Daniels stared at the empty view screen. It means they're afraid of us, and that might make them dangerous. Aliens discovered too late. Humans are the galaxy's deadliest killers, Part 2. The assessment. 3 months passed since the Zalari ship left Tau Ceti. Commander Alexandra Daniels stood in the Intrepid's command center, looking at a map of human space. Small red dots blinked on multiple planets. Another probe found near the Mars colony, Lieutenant Ryan Carter said. He was new to the Intrepid, transferred from military intelligence after first contact. He had sharp eyes that missed nothing, and a mind that connected dots others didn't see. That makes 7 in the last month, Daniels said. They're watching us. The door opened and Dr. Nathan Kelly walked in. He looked tired but excited. Commander, you need to see this, he said, holding up a data pad. I've been studying the biological scans we got from the Zalari visitors. Daniels nodded. What did you find? It's not what they have, it's what they don't have, Kelly said. Their muscle density is much lower than ours. Their bones are lighter. And their reaction times are slower. They're weaker than us, Carter asked. Not just weaker, Kelly said. They evolved on a world with about 70% of Earth's gravity, and from what I can tell, they had very few predators in their evolutionary history. Daniels frowned. What does that mean for us? It means, Kelly said slowly, that to them, we might look like monsters, creatures that evolved on a high-gravity death world, surrounded by predators. We're stronger, faster, and more aggressive than they are. Before Daniels could respond, her communicator beeped. Commander, Ambassador Summers needs you in the diplomatic wing. The Zalari have returned. Daniels found Summers standing with a familiar reptilian figure. Ambassador Cathet looked the same as before, but now wore a more elaborate robe with strange symbols. Commander Daniels, Cathet said with a small bow. I bring greetings from the Zalari High Council. We wish to establish formal diplomatic relations with humanity. That's good news, Daniels said, though she didn't trust the sudden change. What happened to your strategic response to our species? Cathet's yellow eyes blinked slowly. You intercepted that message. I see. It was merely a classification for our records. We have much to learn about each other. Over the next few weeks, more Zalari ships arrived. They brought scientists, diplomats, and observers. They requested tours of human colonies, demonstrations of human technology, and even sports competitions. They want to watch our basketball game? Chief Olivia Warren asked, confused. She and Daniels were walking through the station that had been built for human Zalari meetings. They're studying us, Daniels said. Everything about us. They passed a window overlooking a large room where Dr. Kelly was showing Zalari scientists human medical equipment. A new human was with him, Dr. Samantha Wells, a psychologist who specialized in communication between different species. Later that day, Daniels met with her senior staff in a secure room. Lieutenant Carter, what have you found? She asked. Carter put a data chip into the table's computer. Images appeared above the table. They're documenting everything about us, our strength, our speed, our endurance, but they're especially interested in our responses to threats. What kind of threats? Warren asked. All kinds, Carter said. They've been running simulations watching how we handle emergencies, studying our military drills. Dr. Wells spoke up. I've observed their reactions when watching humans. When we demonstrated emergency rescue procedures, 3 of their scientists showed fear responses. Not concern for the people in danger, fear of the rescuers. Of us? Summers asked. Why? Because of what Dr. Kelly discovered, Daniels said. To them, we're like something from a nightmare world, stronger, faster, tougher than they are. Dr. Kelly nodded. I've learned more about their biology. Most species in the Zalari Imperium evolved on worlds with low gravity and few large predators. Their technology developed faster than their bodies needed to adapt. But we evolved on Earth, Wells said. With lions, bears, and wolves, our bodies had to become strong to survive. And we kept those instincts even as we developed technology, Kelly added. A week later, Daniels was invited to watch a demonstration of human martial arts for the Zalari. 2 Marines showed basic hand-to-hand combat techniques. Nothing dangerous, just simple sparring. The Zalari observers watched in silence. Then one of them suddenly stood up and backed away, making a high-pitched sound. What's happening? Daniels asked Ambassador Cathet. Scientist Zavex is disturbed by the display, Cathet said. Please continue. After the demonstration, Cathet asked to speak with Daniels privately. They walked in the station's garden, a place designed to look like an Earth park. Your people are remarkable, Commander Daniels, Cathet said. You can survive in environments that would kill most species. You can endure pain that would stop others. You heal from injuries that would be fatal to us. Is that why your scientist was afraid? Daniels asked. Because we can take a punch? Cathet looked at her with those strange yellow eyes. Zavex was not afraid of the punches. Zvex was afraid of how easily your people could kill if they wanted to. We don't want to, Daniel said firmly. Not now, perhaps, Cathet said. But your history shows that humans can become violent when threatened. It is your nature. It's also our nature to be curious, to explore, to make friends, Daniels countered. Cathet made a gesture Daniels couldn't interpret. Your species evolved in conditions we consider apocalyptic. What you call normal, we call nightmarish. Later that night, Daniels couldn't sleep. She went to the command center where Carter was working late. Lieutenant, what are the Zalari ships doing? She asked. Carter pulled up a display. Most are in standard orbit, but 3 have left in the last day, heading back toward Zalari space. Why? Unknown, but... Carter hesitated. We detected large data transmissions before they left. They're sending everything they've learned about us back home. The next morning, Ambassador Summers called an emergency meeting. Our intelligence sources have detected movement in the Zalari fleet, he said. Multiple battle groups are being mobilized. They're preparing for war? Warren asked. Shocked. We don't know, Summers admitted. But they're definitely preparing for something. Dr. Wells looked troubled. From my observations, the Zalari are deeply afraid of humanity's potential for violence. Not what we've done, but what we could do. They see us as predators. Kelly added. And they've never had to deal with predators before. So what do we do? Carter asked. Daniels looked around the table at her team. We prepare for the worst but hope for the best. Ambassador Summers will continue diplomatic efforts. The rest of us will make sure humanity is ready for whatever comes next. As the meeting ended, Daniels' communicator beeped with a message from the UEA headquarters on Earth. Zalari Imperium requests high-level diplomatic meeting. Subject, human expansion limitations. Daniels showed the message to Summers. His face grew serious. They want to contain us, he said quietly. They can try, Daniels replied, looking out at the stars. But they'll learn what happens when you corner a predator. Aliens discovered too late. Humans are the galaxy's deadliest killers. Part 3. The Misunderstanding. The space station hung in the emptiness between stars. It was built specially for the meeting between humans and the Zalari. Half was made to human specifications, half to Zalari. It spun slowly, creating gravity for both species. Commander Alexandra Daniels stood at a window, watching a UEA ship dock. 6 months had passed since first contact. In that time, both sides had built up their military forces while talking about peace. Nervous? Asked a voice behind her. Daniels turned to see Admiral Grace Howard. The Admiral was a tall woman with gray hair and a face that showed years of tough decisions. She commanded the entire UEA fleet. Cautious, Daniels replied. The Zalari have brought their military leader, General Vexcor. That seems strange for peace talks. Howard nodded. Keep your eyes open, Commander. I don't trust them. The meeting room was large, with a circular table in the center. Humans sat on one side, Zalari on the other. Ambassador Summers led the human delegation. Admiral Howard sat beside him. Daniels and her team were present as advisors. The Zalari delegation was led by Ambassador Cathet. Beside him sat a larger Zalari with dark green scales and scars on his face. That was General Vexcor. His yellow eyes moved constantly, watching every human in the room. Also present was Lisa Rivera, who represented the human colonies. She was short, but fierce, with a loud voice and strong opinions. She didn't trust the Zalari at all. We welcome this opportunity to discuss our concerns, Cathet began. The Zalari Imperium has observed humanity for centuries. We have watched your wars, your environmental disasters, your rapid technological advancement. Images appeared above the table. They showed Earth's history, wars, weapons, destruction. Then they showed human expansion into space. Your species is dangerous, Cathet said simply. You fight, you kill, you destroy. And now you spread among the stars. Summers remained calm. All intelligent species have conflicts in their past. We've learned from our mistakes. Have you? General Vex Kor spoke for the first time. His voice was deeper than Cathet's. Then why do you build warships? Why do you arm your colonies? For protection, Admiral Howard said. Just as you do. We arm ourselves because of species like yours. Vexicor shot back. Lisa Rivera stood up. Are you threatening our colonies? Millions of families live on those worlds. Children. Peaceful people. Peaceful now, Cathet said. But for how long? Your history shows that humans can become violent very quickly when resources are limited. The argument grew heated. The Zalari presented evidence of humanity's violent past. They formally requested that humans accept limits on expansion and military development. Unacceptable, Howard said firmly. We won't be contained. Then you leave us few options, Vexcor said. Admiral Howard tried to change the tone. We don't want conflict. Perhaps we could establish joint peacekeeping operations, work together to patrol the borders between our territories. Before the Zalari could respond, a loud alarm sounded. The station shook violently. What's happening? Summers shouted. A human security officer ran into the room. Explosion in Section 7, hull breach. We're losing atmosphere in that sector. Section 7 was where many lower-ranking diplomats and staff were housed, both human and Zalari. How many people are trapped? Daniels asked quickly. At least 30, Commander. Both humans and Zalari. Daniels turned to her team. Chief Warren, Lieutenant Carter, Dr. Kelly with me. We need to seal that breach and rescue survivors. As they ran from the room, Daniels heard General Vexicor ask, Where are they going? To save your people, Admiral Howard replied. The damage was worse than Daniels expected. A large hole had been blown in the station's hull. Emergency doors had closed, but the section was losing air fast. Anyone inside would suffocate soon. We need to seal that breach, Daniel said. Then we can get to the survivors. Chief Warren studied a station schematic. We could use the maintenance panels to create a temporary seal, but someone would have to go into the damaged section to place them. I'll go, Daniel said. Carter, you're with me. Warren, prepare the panels. Kelly, get medical ready for survivors. They put on emergency spacesuits. The suits would protect them from vacuum, but only for about 20 minutes. Ready? Daniels asked Carter. He nodded. His face was serious but calm. They entered the airlock. When the door opened to the damaged section, the remaining air rushed out around them. They were hit by loose objects flying toward the breach. Daniels activated magnetic boots to stay connected to the floor. She and Carter pushed forward against the pull of vacuum. They found the first survivors huddled in a small room. 3 Zalari diplomats, terrified but alive. Their scales had turned pale. We'll get you out, Daniels told them. Follow us to the airlock. One Zalari pointed down the corridor. More of our people, and yours, trapped. Carter checked his suit's oxygen level. 15 minutes left, Commander. Let's move, Daniel said. They escorted the Zalari to the airlock, then went deeper into the damaged section. They found more survivors, 4 humans and 5 more Zalari. 1 human was badly injured. Carter, get these people to the airlock, Daniels ordered. I'm going to seal that breach before we all run out of air. Carter looked like he wanted to argue, but nodded. Daniels moved toward the breach. The pull of vacuum was stronger here. She could see stars through the hole in the hull. Using the maintenance panels Warren had prepared, Daniels began to seal the breach. It was hard work. The panels were heavy, and positioning them against the pull of space was difficult. Her oxygen warning light began to flash. 10 minutes left. She finished placing the last panel just as Carter returned. All survivors are in the airlock, he reported. Dr. Kelly is treating them. Good, Daniels said. Let's get out of here. Back in the safe part of the station, Daniels saw something unusual. The Zalari, including General Vexcor, were watching the rescue operation with strange expressions. Dr. Wells approached her. Commander, the Zalari are showing signs of extreme shock, not just from the explosion. From what, then? Daniels asked. From watching humans work in vacuum, Wells said. "From seeing how quickly you responded to the emergency. They're stunned by our ability to function in conditions that would kill them instantly." Later, as medical teams treated the injured, Daniels learned more about the explosion. It hadn't been an accident. Intelligence found evidence it was caused by a radical Zalari group that wanted to stop the peace talks. In the medical bay, Dr. Kelly was examining a Zalari patient when Daniels arrived. "How are they?" she asked. "They'll recover," Kelly said, "but they're amazed that we saved them. Apparently, in their culture, risking your life for others isn't common, especially not for aliens." Daniels noticed General Vexcor watching from the doorway. She walked over to him. "Your people will be fine," she told him. Vexcor studied her with those yellow eyes. "You went into vacuum to save them. You could have died." "That's what we do," Daniels said simply. "Your engineers are already repairing the damage," Vexcor continued. "Our people would need weeks for such repairs. You will be done in hours." Daniels didn't know how to respond to that. "They don't just kill efficiently," Vexcor said quietly. "They survive what should kill them, then keep fighting." He turned and walked away, leaving Daniels wondering if she had just heard a compliment or a threat. Later, she learned that Lieutenant Carter had intercepted another Zalari transmission. This one was more worrying than the last. "Begin preemptive measures against human expansion. Time is critical." The peace talks were over. Both sides returned to their ships. As the Intrepid pulled away from the station, Daniels knew that the real test was just beginning. Aliens discovered too late. Humans are the galaxy's deadliest killers, Part 4. The confrontation. 1 year had passed since first contact. The human colony on New Terra was busy with activity. It was a beautiful world, with blue oceans and green forests. 10,000 people lived there, mining valuable minerals and growing food in the rich soil. Governor Alan Foster stood on the balcony of the colony headquarters, looking at the mountains in the distance. He was a tall man with a weathered face and quiet strength. Before becoming governor, he had been a soldier, then a diplomat. "Beautiful evening," said a voice behind him. Captain Julia Bennett joined him at the railing. She commanded the colony's defense force, a small group of trained soldiers and volunteers. She was smart and resourceful, always finding solutions to difficult problems. "Too quiet," Foster replied. "Any word from Earth?" Bennett shook her head. "Communications are still being blocked. Something is interfering with our signals." Foster frowned. After the failed peace talks, the United Earth Alliance had tried to maintain diplomatic relations with the Zalari. But in recent weeks, contact had become difficult. Zalari ships had been seen near several human colonies. "I don't like it," Foster said. "Tell everyone to stay alert." That night, the alarm sounded. Bennett rushed to the defense center where screens showed multiple ships entering orbit around New Terra. "Zalari vessels," said a young officer. 7 of them. Big ones. Foster arrived moments later. "Have they made contact?" "No, sir," Bennett replied. "They're just sitting up there watching us." "Activate our defenses," Foster ordered. "But don't take aggressive action." The colony's shields powered up. Their few defensive weapons were made ready, but against 7 Zalari warships they wouldn't last long. Finally, a message came through. The face of General Vexcor appeared on the main screen. "Governor Foster," the Zalari said. "The Zalari Imperium has determined that this colony and 4 others are too close to our space. You have 24 hours to evacuate." Foster kept his voice calm. "General, this is a peaceful colony. We have families here, children. We have no quarrel with the Zalari." "Your very presence is a threat," Vexcor replied. "Humans are dangerous. The galaxy would be safer with you contained to fewer worlds." "We won't leave," Foster said firmly. "Then we will remove you," Vexcor said, and the screen went dark. Foster turned to Bennett. "Prepare the people. This could get ugly." "We've trained for this," Bennett said. "Everyone knows what to do." 6 hours later, the attack began. Not with explosive weapons as humans might use, but with strange energy beams that swept across the colony. Where they touched, people fell unconscious. They're trying to knock us out, not kill us, Bennett realized. They think we're dangerous animals, Foster said. They want to capture us, not fight us. The colony's shields blocked some of the beams, but not all. Soon, Solari ships landed outside the main settlement. Soldiers in advanced armor marched out, carrying weapons that fired the same energy beams. Bennett gathered her defense force. We can't match their technology, she told them, so we'll use what they don't expect. The colonists had prepared well. When the Zalari entered the settlement, they found it empty. Then Bennett's people attacked from hiding places using simple weapons and clever traps. Mining equipment became weapons. Environmental systems were turned against the invaders. The colonists used their knowledge of the land to ambush the Zalari again and again. One group of Zalari found themselves trapped in a storage area. The humans had removed the oxygen, and the Zalari, who needed more oxygen than humans, quickly became weak and confused. Another group was caught in a net made from mining cables, hoisted high into the air by construction equipment. The Zalari had better technology, but the humans were more creative, more adaptable, and more determined. The colony's command center, Foster received an urgent message. UEA ship approaching. It's the Intrepid. Commander Daniels and her team had arrived with reinforcements, but even with their help, the humans were outnumbered. The battle continued for hours. The humans fought well, but the Zalari kept coming. For every alien soldier the humans disabled, 2 more took their place. Dr. Nathan Kelly was treating wounded colonists when a Zalari scientist approached under a flag of truce. Kelly recognized him. Zivex? He said in surprise. Dr. Kelly, the Zalari scientist said, this conflict is unnecessary. I have information that may help end it. Zivex showed Kelly ancient Zalari records, translated into English. They told the story of the Zalari's early history. Unlike humans, we evolved in peaceful environments, Zivex explained. Our worlds had few predators, abundant resources. We developed technology before we experienced true conflict. The records showed that the Zalari had already mastered space travel when they encountered their first enemy, another alien species. That war had nearly destroyed them. We had no concept of violence, no understanding of warfare, Zivex said. Millions died before we learned to defend ourselves. Kelly began to understand. So when you met us, we saw a species that evolved, alongside predators that survived by being stronger and more aggressive, Zivex finished. A species that might do to us what that first enemy did. But that's not who we are, Kelly argued. Look around you, Zivex said, gesturing to the battle. Outside, your people turned mining tools into weapons. They adapted in hours to fight us. What took my people generations to learn, yours knew instinctively. Kelly couldn't deny it. Humans were adaptable, especially in dangerous situations. But that didn't make them monsters. We fear you, Zivex admitted, because we see in humans what we could become if necessity demanded it. Your species was forged in conflict. Ours nearly perished from it. Kelly took Zivex to Governor Foster and Commander Daniels. Together, they contacted General Vexicor. Your fear is based on misunderstanding, Daniels told the Zalari leader. Yes, humans can be dangerous when threatened, but that same strength lets us protect others. We survived on Earth because we learned to cooperate, to help each other, Foster added. Our adaptability isn't just for fighting. It's for building, for healing, for exploring. Vexicor was silent for a long moment. You turned mining equipment into weapons, he finally said. Yes, Bennett replied. And tomorrow we'll turn them back into mining equipment. That's the difference you're missing. The fighting stopped as night fell. Both sides retreated to tend their wounded and consider what they had learned. On the Intrepid, Daniels received a message from Admiral Howard. The UEA fleet was on its way, but so was a much larger Zalari force. We need to resolve this before the fleets arrive, Daniels told her team. Or this small conflict will become a war neither side wants. Zivex offered a suggestion. There is one who might help. The oldest and wisest of our leaders, High Counselor Merthal. She has seen centuries of Zalari history. If anyone can see beyond fear, it is her. Daniels nodded. Then let's talk to her, before it's too late for both our peoples. Aliens discovered too late. Humans are the galaxy's deadliest killers, Part 5, The Understanding. The grand meeting hall on Earth was filled with people from two worlds. 2 years had passed since humans and the Zalari first met. After the battle at New Terra, both sides had agreed to one last attempt at peace. Commander Alexandra Daniels stood with her team near the human delegation. Ambassador Summers was there, along with Admiral Howard. Governor Foster and Captain Bennett had come from New Terra. Dr. Kelly and Chief Warren stood nearby, along with Lieutenant Carter and Dr. Wells. On the other side of the room, the Zalari delegation waited. Ambassador Cathet and General Vexcor were present. Scientist Zvex stood slightly apart from them, looking nervous but determined. At the center of the Zalari group was a figure Daniels had never seen before. She was clearly very old, with pale, scales that had faded to almost white. Her yellow eyes, however, were bright and alert. This was High Counselor Mirthal, the oldest and wisest of the Zalari leaders. A new human also joined the proceedings. Dr. William Parker was an anthropologist who studied how humans had evolved and adapted over time. He was there to help explain humanity to the aliens. Admiral Howard opened the meeting. We are here to find a path forward that allows both our peoples to live in peace. High Counselor Mirthal spoke next. Her voice was soft but carried across the room. For this to happen, we must understand each other better. Not just our technologies or our biology, but our souls. Dr. Parker was invited to speak first. He showed images of ancient Earth, of early humans struggling to survive. Humans evolved on a world that was often harsh, he explained. We faced predators, natural disasters, changing climates. To survive, we needed to be strong, yes, but more importantly, we needed to work together. He showed cave paintings of early humans hunting in groups, sharing food, caring for their injured. Our strength came from cooperation as much as from physical ability, Parker continued, and something else developed alongside our capacity for aggression: compassion. Ambassador Summers stepped forward. Human history does include violence and war. We don't deny this. But it also shows steady progress toward reducing conflicts and developing ethical systems that value all life. He displayed images of hospitals, of peace treaties, of humanitarian missions. For every weapon we've created, we've also created tools to heal, to build, to explore. Summers said, our adaptability serves creation as much as destruction. High Counselor Mirthal listened carefully. Then she shared the Zalari history, a very different story from humanity's. We evolved on worlds with abundant resources and few dangers, she explained. We never needed to fight for survival. We developed technology before we developed ways to handle conflict. Images showed the Zalari's peaceful development, followed by their devastating first war with another species. That war nearly destroyed us, Mirthal said. Not just our bodies, but our understanding of ourselves. We had never faced such violence before. We had no instincts for it, no history to guide us. So when you met humans, Daniel said slowly, you saw a species that had those instincts. Yes, Mirthal admitted. We saw beings who could adapt to threats in ways we could not, who could fight and survive where we would perish. It terrified us. Admiral Howard and General Vexcor stepped forward together. For a long moment, they studied each other. Your people turned mining equipment into weapons, Vexcor said. Howard nodded. And then back into mining equipment when the danger passes. This is what we failed to understand, Vexcor admitted. Humans can become dangerous when threatened, but you choose when to use that capacity. We can establish a framework for military cooperation, Howard suggested. Joint patrols of the border between our territories, exchange of information about threats to either of our peoples. This would be acceptable, Vexcor agreed. Dr. Kelly approached scientist Zvex. Our species have different biological advantages, Kelly said. Humans are physically adaptable. The Zalari have longer lives and more advanced technology in many areas. We could learn from each other, Zvex suggested. A scientific exchange program, Kelly agreed, focusing on how our different evolutionary paths gave us different strengths. Chief Warren had been talking with Zalari engineers. I've been studying your ship designs, she told them. You build with incredible precision, but our approach allows for more improvisation when things go wrong. Perhaps we could develop new engineering protocols, a Zalari engineer suggested, combining our precision with your adaptability. Throughout the hall, humans and Zalari were finding ways to work together. Dr. Wells observed the interactions with satisfaction. They're no longer showing fear responses, she told Daniels. They're curious now, engaged. Ambassador Cathet approached Summers. We have made a serious error, he admitted. We saw only the predator in humanity, not the protector. It's an easy mistake to make, Summers replied. Even we struggle sometimes to find the balance between strength and gentleness. As the meeting continued, plans were made for the future. A joint human-Zalari expedition would explore uncharted space together. Scientific and cultural exchanges would happen on multiple worlds. Military forces would train together, learning from each other's approaches. High Counselor Merthal stood before the combined delegations. We feared you as the galaxy's deadliest killers, she said to the humans. Now we understand you are also its most determined survivors, and perhaps its most adaptable teachers. Commander Daniels and Captain Bennett began working with the Zalari security officials, planning training exercises for a mixed-species security team. They're stronger in some ways, Bennett said of the Zalari. Their senses are sharper than ours. We can learn from that, and they can learn from our improvisation skills, Daniels added. Outside the meeting hall, Ambassador Summers stood with High Counselor Merthal, looking at the stars beginning to appear in the evening sky. They feared what humanity could destroy, Summers said quietly. Now they're beginning to see what we can build. Merthal's ancient eyes studied the human's face. Your people evolved on a world that demanded strength. Our people evolved on worlds that allowed gentleness. Perhaps the galaxy needs both. Daniels joined them, along with Dr. Kelly and Zvex. Ready for the first joint mission? Daniels asked. Kelly nodded. The exploration ship leaves next week. Mixed crew, 50 humans, 50 Zalari. To seek out new life forms, Zvex added. Together. Who knows what we'll find out there? Daniels said, looking at the stars. Whatever it is, Merthal replied. I believe our peoples will face it better together than apart. Your strength, our wisdom, your adaptability, our patience. Governor. Foster approached with a data pad. The rebuilding of New Terra is going well, he reported. The Zalari engineering teams are helping us improve our infrastructure. And we're teaching them how to respond more effectively to emergencies, Captain Bennett added. As night fell, humans and Zalari continued talking, planning, learning from each other. The fear was gone, replaced by curiosity and hope. Commander. Daniels looked around at the mixed groups, former enemies now becoming allies, perhaps even friends. It was never about being the deadliest killers, she thought. It was about being the most determined survivors, and now perhaps the most successful builders of peace.